Om Sapakaya cha dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Sapakaya cha dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namah Prasida Matar Vinayena Yate Nityam Bhavasnehavati Suteshu Premaika Bindum Chiradagda Chitte Visincha Chittam Kurunas Sushantam Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayoshritva Pranamami Muhurmu. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the establisher of religion universal, the embodiment of all religions, and supreme divine incarnation of Brahman. Let us pray to Mother to grant us peace and prosperity. Let us pray to her, O Mother, be propitious and grant what we in humility implore. May you be ever affectionate to us, and casting even a drop of your love on our long parched heart, render it cool and peaceful. Taking shelter at the feet of Sarada, the Universal Mother, and Ramakrishna, the teacher of the world, let us salute them again and again. Today I am speaking on the topic Sri Sarada Devi, the exemplar of all the noble qualities of the women. In this month, we will be celebrating the birthday of Sri Sarada Devi. That is on December 20th. The program will begin in the morning at 10:30 with bhajans and brief talk, followed by special worship and flower offering. Mother's life is very sublime. She is the incarnation of the Divine Mother. Sri Ramakrishna himself declared that he who was Sri Ramachandra in Treta Yuga and who was Sri Krishna in Dwapar Yuga, now he has come to this plane as incarnation of Ramakrishna. And Sri Ramakrishna refers to Sri Sarada Devi as none other than Divine Mother. So, it is a unique combination of the Divine Supreme and Divine Mother coming together to give us hope and assurance, to give us peace and happiness, and to show to us how to live spiritual life. Sri Ramakrishna came to integrate all the religions of the world. He validated all the spiritual truths of all the religions, and he played an important role in practicing religion. What is it that binds us most? It is lust and gold. If you are able to overcome them, then it should be very easy for us to achieve the spiritual goal. Sri Ramakrishna, the master of renunciation, but he was full of human qualities. He lived actually like a perfect human being, discharging all the human responsibilities. And how he treated his own wife, Sri Sarada Devi, with utmost respect and attention. She was very affectionate, loving. At the same time, he wants Holy Mother also to be an ideal for all the women in the world. And Holy Mother did represent all the ideal. She was also master of renunciation. But then she lived like an ordinary household, attending on all chores of the home, full of activity. In the midst of all these household activities, Mother was practicing spirituality with maximum attention and focus. So she set an ideal, even living as a householder. One can practice spirituality. In fact, one should practice. And she showed the life. The outstanding virtues of the women are courage, serenity, self-control, sweetness, compassion, wisdom, and an intuitive relationship with God. Holy Mother possessed all these virtues. Sri Sarada Devi is called Holy Mother. She was extremely simple and very great. Her extraordinary uniqueness is fully manifested in her virtues in her life. She exhibited her sattvic Shakti in full measure in her life. If we study Bhagavad Gita, there it is mentioned 7 virtues of the women. Kirtihi, Sirvakcha Narinam, Smritir Medha Dhatikshama. Glory, grace or prosperity, speech, discretion, intelligence, courage, and forgiveness. These are the noble qualities of the women Lord Krishna mentions in the Bhagavad Gita. And Shri Krishna tells I am these virtues in the women. We can see all these noble qualities manifested fully in Holy Mother. So, what is glory? Kirti means glory. Her glory is manifested fully in her purity. How tremendously she was pure. To her whose life story is purifying, to her whose life breaths purity, to her who is verily purity embodied, to her we offer our salutations. Pavitram charitam yasyaha, pavitram jivanam tatha, pavitrata supinyai, tasye kurmo namo namaha. Swami Vedanta has composed this poem. Every day we pray in the evening. So she is the personification of purity and nobility. She had a sweet nature, and she was endowed with faith, innocence and compassion for all beings. She was an embodiment of love and sympathy for all, and she was ready to adapt to any circumstances. No earthly thing could affect her tranquility. She was always ever in tranquil state. Sister Nivedita once wrote to her, "O Mother, you are full of love. It is not a flushed and violent love like ours and the world's, but a gentle peace that brings good to everyone and wishes ill to none. It is a golden radiance full of play. You are full of love. It is not a flushed and violent love like ours and the world's, but a gentle peace that brings good to everyone and wishes ill to none. It is a golden radiance full of play." That's how Sister Nivedita describes Mother's glory. There's an incident which exemplifies this quality. In Jarambati, the woman who served as cook came to her one night at 9 o'clock. She seemed little disturbed, that woman. She came to Mother running in a very depressed mood. Why she was depressed? She came to report that she had touched a dog. As touching the dog is polluting, according to Hindu tradition, she would have to take baths in that winter night. It was quite cold. So, when she reported this matter to Mother, Mother Sarada Devi said, "Don't take bath so late in the night. Just wash your hands and feet and change the clothes. That's enough." But the woman was not satisfied. She said, "How can that suffice?" Then the mother said, "Give another option. All right. Take Ganges water. That will be purifying you." But then again, she was not satisfied. Then finally, Holy Mother, looking at her pointedly, said, "Look, this is the final option. This is the final. By doing which you will certainly feel purified. And she was hearing with full attention. Holy Mother said, "Look, are you looking at me?" "Yes, Mother." "Now do this. Touch me. Touch my body. That's enough." That is Holy Mother. She gave such tremendous hope and assurance to that woman. She was totally satisfied. It opened her eyes. And she really felt that she was purified immensely by touching the Mother. It is a purifying agent, as it were. The cook felt her whole life has become purified. It is a tremendous experience for her. So that is there are many instances to show the glory of the Divine Mother. Next quality which I mentioned, which Sri Krishna mentions in the Bhagavad Gita, grace. Shrihi. Shri means grace as well as prosperity. Now Holy Mother, the embodiment of Divine Mother, she said, here means referring to her place where she was living, Jairambati, one need not even follow any ritual. She is there to help anyone who just merely calls her Mother. Anyone who accepts her as Mother is accepted by her as her child. That one word Mother has that miraculous power. Many times she would tell people, remember that you have a mother here. You can come to me at any time. I will never reject you. You are my own. This assurance was not an empty one. Many people felt it. Those who called even once Mother were immediately accepted. They were helped and guided throughout their lives. She never discriminated among people. When once she was criticized for serving the Muslim Bandit Amzad with great care, Sarada Devi replied, "Look, to me that Muslim Bandit and Swami Chidananda are the same. No distinction." It is absolutely true for her, a mother. This kind of feeling is very rare in practice. Many only talk about it, but throughout Holy Mother's life one finds that compassionate attitude very prominent. Real spiritual life is set in those feelings and actions. That's why her life eludes our understanding. Her life was a great mystery. Her spiritual powers were hidden. The more incidents we hear about her, the more we are amazed. Many people were lifted by her grace. Mother once said to a boy, "Look, it is the nature of water to flow downwards, but the sun's rays lift it up towards the sky. Likewise, It is the very nature of the mind to go to lower things, to objects of enjoyment. But the grace of God can make such minds go toward higher objects. This was shown in the life of one college student who used to visit mother's place quite frequently. One day, while taking leave of her, the student suddenly said, "Oh mother, I am no good for this place. I am unfit to come to you. I am saying goodbye forever." He started to leave the house. Mother ran after him, caught his shirt, and pulling him toward her, she put her hands on his shoulders. Looking at him eye to eye, she said in a firm voice, "Whenever any disturbing thought comes to your mind, think of me, don't worry." With those words, she let him go. While going home, the boy repeated mother's words over and over again. "Think of me, think of me, think of me." He could not forget those two beautiful, compassionate eyes of the mother. Constantly he thought of her. And you know what in what way it affected? It changed his life completely. So much so, he became a monk later on and led a very exemplary life. What must be the spiritual height of the mother? Merely thinking of her purifies our heart and lifts our consciousness to a higher spiritual realm. Swami Adbhutananda Ji, one of the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, he related that he was asked by Sri Ramakrishna to serve mother, and that through her grace he would achieve everything. He said, Adbhutanji said, "How blessed am I that the Master took me to the Holy Mother, who made my life fruitful. To serve her, what could I do? On the contrary, it was she who bound me down with love celestial. She had nothing to expect of us. It was to her grace that we obtained her for a mother." Swami Vivekananda, the foremost disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, he said, "Mother's word is final." He understood better than many the meaning of her grace. He once wrote, "To me, mother's grace is 100,000 times more valuable than father's." Mother's grace, mother's blessings are all paramount to me. Please pardon me, I am a little bigoted here as regards mother. If but mother orders, her demons can work anything. Before proceeding to America, I wrote to mother to bless me. Her blessing came, and at one bound I cleared the ocean. There are many instances where mother's infinite grace has purified the lives of people and blessed them. That's why she is aptly called as Kripa Sindhu, Pavana Ganga. Mother said, "As one gets the fragrance of a flower by handling it, or as one gets the smell of sandalwood by rubbing it against a stone, in the same way, one gets spiritual awakening by constantly thinking of God." Mother herself would do every day several thousand times japa. So, she would always say, repeat Lord's name, repeat. Fill up the mind with the remembrance of God. That's how we see how Mother was ever ready to shower her grace on everyone. Third quality, walk. That is speech. Mother's words were full of wisdom, words of wisdom. Holy Mother is the goddess of learning. And etymologically, Sarada means the giver of Sara, or essence. What is the essence? The knowledge of Brahman. The Master one day told Golapma, she is Sarada, referring to Holy Mother. Sri Ramakrishna said, she is Saraswati. She has come to impart knowledge. She is the communicator of knowledge. She is full of the rarest wisdom. Is she of the common run? Then Sri Ramakrishna says, she is my Shakti. She is my power. While speaking to her disciples, Holy Mother's language was concise, clear, and free from ambiguity. It went straight to the heart of the problem and carried with it conviction and compelling power. Once a devotee asked, how shall I meditate? Mother replied, think of God. How shall I practice spiritual disciplines? Mother said, the mind itself finally becomes the teacher. The practice of disciplines means to fix the mind constantly on the lotus feet of God and remain absorbed in the thought of Him. What is the goal of life? Mother replied, to realize God and remain immersed in Him. On another occasion she remarked, suppose people are engaged in both holy and sinful talk. Those present will partake of both the good and the evil. Devotee said, how is it possible? Mother said, listen, my child. Suppose a person has spoken to you about his virtues and sinful deeds. When you recall him, you will naturally think of his good and evil deeds. Thus both good and evil will leave some impression on your mind. Isn't that so? Holy Mother tried to instill a feeling of fearlessness into her disciples' minds. Once a devotee said, Mother, I can't practice any spiritual disciplines. It seems that I shall never be able to do so. Then Holy Mother said, don't worry. Do whatever you can. Always remember that Sri Ramakrishna is behind you and that I am too. Devotee said, Mother, I can't meditate at all. Holy Mother said, never mind. Just look at the picture of the Master. See how her instructions are very direct and simple. To another devotee she said, do not worry about meditation. Just try to remember the Master. That's enough. Another devotee asked, however I may try to remove evil thoughts, I do not succeed. Mother said, This is the result of what you have done in your past life. Can one get rid of it by force? Cultivate good company. Try to be good, and in time you will succeed. Pray to the Master, I too am here. Devotee asked, how much longer can I fight with my mind? One desire disappears and another pops up. Mother said, as long as I consciousness remains, desires will certainly arise. Those desires will not hurt you. The Master will protect you. He will commit a great sin if he does not protect those who have taken refuge in him and have taken shelter at his feet. Depend upon him and so lead your life. Let him make you better or let him drown you. But you must follow what is good, and that too according to the power God has given to you. Holy Mother's teachings were interspersed with apt illustrations and analogies. About the vision of God she said, the moon is in the sky, but it is hidden by a cloud. The cloud must be slowly blown away by the wind, and then you will see the moon. Can anything happen abruptly? The vision of God is also like that. Slowly one gets rid of one's past karma. About men's experiencing weakness of the mind, the mother taught that is nature's law. Haven't you noticed the new moon and the full moon? The mind likewise sometimes feels pure and sometimes impure. Frequently she used illustrations which gave her conversation a living quality. The next virtue, smriti, that is discretion. Once Sri Ramakrishna asked the Holy Mother not to allow a certain woman of ill repute to meet her. But then he complacently watched how it was not possible for the extremely compassionate heart of Sarada to deny the woman her motherly affection and blessings. On another occasion, he did not demur when a crazy woman rebuked and turned out by him was immediately called and consoled by mother. And again the Master appreciated her solicitude when she could not go by his direction of stinting one of his younger disciples in food, as required by his spiritual discipline. He was rather pleased when she guaranteed the spiritual well-being of the boy, even if he was fed more liberally by her. In all these cases, mother used her discretion and took full responsibility of them in protecting their well-being. Then, Medha, intelligence. Sri Ramakrishna has said that the goddesses Kali, Saraswati and Lakshmi, all these three had manifested in the present age as Sri Sarada Devi. Regarding the weakness of mind, Holy Mother said to his disciple, child, this is the law of nature. Have you noticed the full moon and the new moon? Likewise, the mind is sometimes dominated by good, sometimes by bad tendencies. It is the nature of the water to flow downwards, but the sun's rays lift it up towards the sky. Likewise, the very nature of the mind to go to lower things, to objects of enjoyment, but the grace of God can make the mind go towards higher objects. Everything depends on the God. Nothing can be achieved without purity of mind. It is said, the aspirant may have received the grace of the Guru, the Lord and the Vaishnavas, but he comes to grief without the grace of one. That one is the mind. The mind of the aspirant should be gracious to him. The next quality is dhriti, that is courage. how mother manifested all these qualities in her personality. There is an episode where once while returning to Dakshineshwar from her fourth visit in February 1877, Sri Sarada encountered a highwayman. On this occasion, she showed exceptional courage, intelligence and self-control. She was going on foot, as she usually did during these trips, accompanied by several companions. But the way was very dangerous one. It was infested with highwaymen who not only robbed helpless travelers but also occasionally killed them. People did not dare to cross this dangerous place at night or alone. Sarada Devi arrived there with her companions sometime before sundown and resolved to cross it while it was still light. Tired and footsore, she could hardly keep up with her friends. She asked the others to walk fast, as they were afraid of the approaching night and the fearsome robbers. It's her nature not to inconvenience others for her own sake. So the companions moved on, asking her to hurry. Sarada was trudging on alone when the sun went below the horizon and twilight fell over the earth. Naturally, she was worried. The darkness was approaching. Suddenly she saw a tall, with a shock of thick hair, very violent face, coming towards her in the dusk. Observing that he carried a long and stout stick on his shoulder, Sarada Devi realized what he was, and she stood still. The man wanted to frighten her and said in a stern voice, "Who is standing there all alone at this hour of the night? Where are you going?" Mother said, "I am going towards the east." The robber said, "You have missed your direction. You must go the other way." Sarada Devi still stood motionless, and the man came nearer. As he looked at her face, something strange happened within him, and he said gently, "Don't be afraid. There's a woman with me. She will be here presently." She saw the figure of a woman at a distance. She said to the robber, "Father, my companions have left me behind. Perhaps I am going in the wrong direction. Your son-in-law," referring to Sri Ramakrishna, "lives at the Kali temple at Dakshineshwar. I am going to him. Please accompany me there. He will certainly appreciate your kindness and show you proper courtesy." No sooner had Sarada said these words than the woman came up. She was the robber's wife. Trustfully, Sarada clasped her hand and said, "Mother, I am your child Sarada. My companions have left me behind. I am terribly frightened. It is by sheer luck that you and father have come. Otherwise I do not know what I would have done." These simple and straightforward words melted the hearts of the low-caste robber and his wife, who at once adopted her as their daughter and bid her be of good cheer. Finding her tired, they stopped at the nearest village and spent the night in a small cottage. The man bought some simple food from a shop, and the wife improvised a bed with her clothes. Gently she was put to sleep, and the robber kept watch all night, sitting outside with his stick nearby. Early next morning, they set out for the village of Tarakeshwar, where Sarada Devi had planned to spend the night with her companions. On the way, the robber's wife picked some tender peas for Sarada from the fields. She ate them with relish. Soon after their arrival at Tarakeshwar, they took shelter there. The woman said to her husband, "My daughter practically fasted last night. Quickly finish the worship of the Shiva temple and buy some fish and vegetables. I would like to feed her well." In a short while, Sarada Devi's companions found her. They were relieved to see her safe and sound. She said to them, referring to the robber and his wife, "I don't know what I would have done last evening if they had not taken me under their wing." All of them ate together and had a happy time. Soon the party set out for Dakshineshwar. They walked together for some distance, and when the moment of parting came, Sarada Devi and her new parents began to weep. Robber's wife again picked some green peas from the Sarada Devi's sari and said affectionately, "Child, when you eat puffed rice tonight, please take these peas with it." Sarada Devi reached Dakshineshwar and told the master of her experiences of the previous night. Afterwards, the robber and his wife visited Sri Ramakrishna several times with suitable gifts, and Sri Ramakrishna treated them kindly as if they were his relatives. Describing the story to her devotees later, Sarada Devi said, "Though my adopted father was so honest and good, yet I believe he had been a highwayman before." One can only conjecture how she made such a deep impression on his mind. Did he and his wife get a glimpse of her real nature? At one time she asked them, "Why do you show me such kindness and affection?" They replied, "But you are not an ordinary human being. We saw you as Mother Kali." "How is that?" she interrupted. "What did you see?" They replied firmly. That is the robber and his wife. "No, child, we really seen you as Kali. You hide that form from us because we are sinners." Many years after, a disciple of Holy Mother asked her, "What did the robber see in you?" Mother said, "He said later that he saw Kali." The disciple answered, "Then you appeared before him as Mother Kali? Please don't hide anything from us. Please tell us frankly what happened." Mother said, why should I have shown him the form of Kali? It was he who said that he had seen that form. Anyway, the robber and his wife were transformed. Their brutal nature was removed from their hearts. And that happened because they could get the blessings of the Mother Sharda. This incident showed how Mother was very courageous. She did not run away. She faced the risk. There is another instance which shows her tremendous courage. During one of Mother's visits to Kamarpukur, an incident happened. Harish is a devotee of Sri Ramakrishna. He had formerly stayed with Master from time to time. His wife had been greatly disturbed by his indifference to the family, and so she had given him some medicine to divert his mind to the worldly life. This had affected his brain. He arrived at Kamarpukur one day in a deranged state of mind and began to act queerly. Holy Mother was worried and wrote about him to the young disciples then living at Baranagar. Before they could take any step, this man became really insane. One day, as Mother entered the compound of her home from a visit with a neighbor, Harish began to chase her. He was then insane. His wife had brought about this condition. There was no one in Mother's house at that time. In a helpless state, she began to walk fast around the granary. Mother said that she assumed her real form, that is Bagala, one of the terrible forms of the Divine Mother, laid him on the ground, placed her knees on his chest and slapped him hard. Harish began to grasp for breath. Mother's fingers became red. Harish was pacified and soon after left for Vrindavan, where he again became normal. So this was the most thrilling incident where Mother showed her courage. Dhriti. The next quality is Kshama, that is forgiveness. Holy Mother taught that mind is everything. It is in the mind alone that one feels pure and impure. A person, first of all, must make his or her own mind guilty, and then alone they can see another's guilt. Does anything ever happen to another if you enumerate their faults? It only injures you. This has been my attitude. Hence I can't see anybody's faults. If someone does a trifle for me, I try to remember that person even for that. To see the faults of others, one should never do it. Forgiveness is indeed tapasya, spiritual austerity. If you want peace of mind, do not find fault with others, rather see your own faults. Learn to make the world your own. No one is a stranger. The whole world is your own. Sri Sarada Devi, known worldwide as the Holy Mother, is a unique phenomenon in the realm of sacred beings. Perhaps the testament of Sri Ramakrishna himself is the best recourse to take when attempting to describe her. Once Sarada Devi was massaging his feet. She asked Ramakrishna what he thought of her. He explained to her that the same mother, Bhavatarani or Kali, that was in the Dakshineshwar temple, and the same mother that had given him birth was now sitting before him holding his feet. Though admittedly this was an assessment coming from a being who saw the Divine Mother everywhere, more specific praise was forthcoming in later years when both of them had discovered the full divine potential in each other. He was heard to say that the goddess Kali, Saraswati and Lakshmi had manifested in the present age as Sri Sarada Devi. This type of adoration coming from such a source is revealing. However, one doesn't have to look far before a boundless ocean of praise is discovered, written and spoken not only by monks, householder devotees and the public at large, but also by those who lived with her daily. One such person who later became a Swami in the Ramakrishna order wrote of her in a hymn, "Victory to Sri Sarada, who is mother, friend, saint, and teacher in one, whose life was spent in efforts to remove ignorance from the minds of those precious spiritual children who took refuge in her." Sri Sarada Devi taught not by precepts but by examples. There were irritants galore in the way people around her behaved, but she was an indulgent mother who knew the best way to educate an erring child was to set an example before him, which she did. She had seen the worst side of a man, but she never lost faith in him, knowing that, given affection, sympathy and guidance, he could overcome all his limitations. Sarada Devi was human yet divine. Her divinity shone through everything. She did whatever she did, there was divinity, even if it was something entirely mundane. She was a simple woman, but in thought, speech and action she was attuned to God. She was a true saint, but she never claimed she was. She passed as an ordinary woman, but everything about her was extraordinary. After Sri Ramakrishna's Mahasamadhi in 1886, Holy Mother, then just 33 years old, became the lineage holder of the Ramakrishna order. During the initial years after his passing, she returned to Sri Ramakrishna's ancestral village and lived a simple and austere life interspersed by several pilgrimages. Once while visiting Bodh Gaya, the sight of how the monks there lived in comfort compared to the impoverished conditions of our own monastic sons caused her to pray intensely to the Master for a place where his disciples could live and worship accordingly. Later, when land for monastery had been secured, due in part to Swami Vivekananda's inspiring work in India and abroad, the Holy Mother received the many devotees and visitors that came due to Sri Ramakrishna's growing fame. The monastic and householder devotees of the Master alike acknowledged her as the mother of the Ramakrishna order, and she assumed and dispatched all duties allotted her with concern and efficiency. When a person takes refuge with God, life's goal changes. God himself reverses his destiny. Does he grow a pair of horns? No. But he can distinguish good from evil, discover knowledge, and pass beyond the reach of life and death. You must find him in your meditations. Who has seen more than this? To whom has he actually spoken? It is in spiritual transports one sees him, talks with him, and so on. One of the more important of these duties involved initiating the growing number of seekers who were attracted to Sri Ramakrishna and the direct disciples. How fortunate were those who received direct mantra diksha from the Divine Mother of the universe herself through the open and pure channel of Sri Sarada Devi. Hundreds of these souls were granted admission into spiritual life and instruction in sadhana by Sri Sarada Devi. As part of Sri Ramakrishna's vision, as well as Swami Vivekananda's work in India and throughout the world, the upliftment of the suffering masses was of paramount importance in line with this task. The development and emancipation of women played an essential part, for the Master and his foremost disciples knew that no regeneration of society would be possible if this was not accomplished. The Divine Mother of the universe simply would not manifest in the collective heart of humanity if the Divine Shakti lying dormant in all beings was not propitiated and revered. In this respect, Holy Mother represents the ideal of contemporary womanhood, a perfect example of fully awakened, fully illumined Shakti, As Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda removed the veils of weaknesses and ignorance covering the minds of human beings everywhere, the Holy Mother opened the floodgates of divine feminine expression, showing a way to liberation and acting as an example for women the world over to follow. In her is seen the exquisitely balanced blend of power and modesty, strength and humility, detachment and compassion, purity and practicality. By accepting her as the ultimate standard for the women of the contemporary times, immaculate Shakti power will emerge, and homes and families, schools, workplaces and spiritual centers will again become pure and divinized. The outstanding virtues of Indian womanhood are courage, serenity, self-control, sweetness, compassion, wisdom, and intuitive relationship with God. Holy Mother possessed all these virtues. Since the acquisition of such gifts is a dream of all women, Holy Mother may aptly be seen as a symbol of aspiration of women everywhere. How can one's mind be healthy if one doesn't work? No one can spend all the 24 hours in thought and meditation. So one must engage oneself in work. It keeps the mind cheerful. So, Sarada Devi, the embodiment of all noble qualities, as described by Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, she has set an example and set an ideal for all of us to cultivate those virtues in our life. May Sarada Devi grant us peace and happiness. Let us offer our salutations to her. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. May the Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May our knowledge be fruitful and enlightened. May we not hate each other. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.